A fun and easy way to transport your laptop. Welcome back to Techstination. I'm Fred Fishkin. Joining us from Free Agent Outfitters is founder Todd Boss. Hi, Todd.
Hey, how are you doing, Fred?
Terrific. Well, Todd, I love the product, the laptop strap, but I love the story behind it even more. You're known as a poet who's been widely published and an artist, and now inventor. So tell us the story.
Yeah, about 2018 or so, I realized if I can work from home, well, then I can work from anywhere, right? So I sold everything I had and became a nomad. But before I did, I was trying to just get rid of as much as I could. I sold everything on Craigslist. I just got rid of everything. And one of the things I was trying to downsize was the luggage itself. And I'd been carrying a satchel for my laptop for years. And I thought, well, maybe I can just carry the laptop. Maybe there's a way to get rid of the laptop bag and just throw my laptop over my shoulder. So I sat down at my kitchen table just months before I disembarked for a world, tour that took me 6 years, and invented the laptop strap. It's just an adhesive flap that folds over the hinge of your laptop and lets you throw your laptop over your shoulder without a bag.
Wonderfully minimalist, I guess, is the one way to put it. I guess one concern that some might have is how secure it is using adhesive on the laptop, and does it ruin the laptop if you want to take it off?
Yeah, I had to work with a factory to find just the right adhesive. It's independently pull tested to 114 pounds. So we've actually swung a 6-year-old girl from a laptop in the park for a photo shoot. And we had to do take after take after take with the same laptop strap on the same laptop, my laptop actually. And there was no sign of wear. So it's a really solid hold. It's got you. And yet it peels off without any residue. It's kind of a one and done application, but it's designed not to mess with the finish of your machine. So you can take it off without any sign.
There are different designs for laptops, so I suppose this works best with certain kinds. Tell us about that.
Yeah, we've got a list, kind of a sizing chart on our website and on Amazon so that you're sure to get the right fit for your machine. We can only fit those machines that the laptop strap doesn't cover over any ports or air fans or serial numbers. So it does limit some things a little bit, but we're still covering Apple, Microsoft, and some of the big brands.
So I trust from what you said that you said 6 years you were on the road, so to speak. So now you've landed once again from the nomadic venture.
Yeah, I found an amazing girlfriend in Los Angeles, and about a year ago, we moved to Austin, Texas. So we're here now for the foreseeable future.
Well, terrific. So tell us about the poetry and your background a little bit, because that is such a big part of this story. And then we're going to talk about your podcast, which is poetry related.
Well, thanks for asking about it. I have a master's degree in poetry. I've got 4 books with a major New York publisher, which is a very lucky thing for a poet. And I see them as related, the laptop strap and the poetry, in a couple of ways. I really love poetry that's spare and elegant. And those are two great ways to describe the laptop strap. It's the kind of thing that once you get used to, you kind of can't live without. And poetry at its best is kind of like that too.
Very, very interesting. And I encourage people to take a look online at some of your work. And then there's the podcast. Tell me about how you got into that, because it's unique, fun, and at the same time really insightful.
Yeah, thank you. The podcast is called There's a Poem in That, and it stems from my belief that there's a poem in everything if we're paying attention. And about 15 years ago, when I published my first book of poems, I got real cocky and I put a page on my website inviting people to pay me to write a poem for them. And I put a big price tag on it, thinking nobody would take me up on it. Well, lo and behold, people started to hire me to do this. And I developed a modality where I work with people with in-depth interviews, 3 hours worth of interviews over the course of weeks or months. And then I write a poem just for them. And the podcast is a platform where we're putting those stories together, the interviews, the poem itself and the writing of it, and then the reveal of the poem to the guest. And now any stranger can call the number and work with me to develop a poem all their own. It's a really beautiful project. Every episode ends in tears, and it's the kind of work that I want to do for the rest of my life.
And it puts you directly in touch with people who might ordinarily just be readers of yours and makes them part of the creation process.
That's right. I think of them as collaborators on a certain level. And even though what comes eventually surprises both of us when the finished poem is ready to deliver, they're instrumental, of course, in the making of it. And I think this is a modality that more poets can embrace. So I'm becoming something of an ambassador of this type of work to other poets. I have a medical doctor friend who calls it clinical poetry because it's taking poetry out of, uh, sort of the academic world and the lab and kind of applying it one-on-one on a client basis, which makes a lot of sense on some levels. So there's a lot to it, and I'm excited about this is just the beginning.
And is that still a business that people who call they're paying a price for you to develop the poem, or
No, it's
is it
absolutely.
free since it's in the podcast?
It's free now, and that's by design. I want to really democratize the whole idea of it. Eventually, or hopefully, we'll have some sponsors to really take it to the next level. We've got some really interesting stories coming out in USA Today and Newsweek in the next couple of weeks, I hope, and those will help build the momentum.
Just wonderful. Where can people find it? Where's the best place? I mean, podcasts are widely distributed, but where do you want people to go?
Yeah, it's distributed everywhere, but sort of the main hub is poeminthat.com.
Poeminthat.com. And getting back to the laptop strap, where can people find that?
Yeah, the laptopstrap.com. That's the laptopstrap.com.
When you're writing your poetry, it seems like you're a lot of it you're delving back to your childhood, at least some of the things that I've seen thus far, to create these. I guess you would call them short stories, but they're poems.
Yeah, there's a real I don't write for the academy. I write for people like my family who are working class people and farmers from Wisconsin, and I write for them because those are the people that that are ultimately reading this stuff that matter to me. And so yeah, there's a lot of storytelling, and it's pretty accessible work by and large.
Well, congratulations on all of the various things that you're doing. Do you have a favorite way to spend your time since you're into so many different things now? I suspect that from what it sounds like, the podcast end is getting
Podcast
to be
is amazing. And when I'm not
very
doing the
rewarding.
things, when I'm not doing the things that I've turned into avocations or vocations, I'm cooking. That's one of the ways that I stay warm in the winter and entertain friends.
Hmm, a poetic cookbook. Has anybody done
Let's do it.
that? Sounds wonderful. Todd Boss, thank you so much for spending time with us.
Thanks, Fred.